Hi, this is Mark Killian. Welcome to Killian's Kitchen. This week we are doing cut finger. Happened last night, washing a knife. Don't try this at home. This episode we are doing my red sauce. This is my interpretation of Tabasco or Cholula or Tapatio, that kind of sauce. First, however, what are we drinking? Glass, lime on rim, glass in salt. And now, Michelada. The soul of Mexico. Michelada is half beer and half clamato juice, which is a red tomato-based juice with some clan juice in it. Some lime juice and some salt. Now, because I don't have any clear Mexican beer here, thanks to coronavirus, I had to resort to a pre-made version. And it's called Michelada, or they have a few different versions, but this is literally the only time I would ever allow a Budweiser to pass through my lips. But it's actually halfway decent for a pre-made Michelada. Other companies make them. Modelo has one, a couple of other companies. I think this is by far the best, by far the most authentic. And now all you do is pour that in there like so, and as I say, normally this would be half beer and half clamato. This is actually made with real thing, with tomato juice. That's probably why it's so authentic. And now that you've got that, this is perhaps the most important part. This is the soul of Mexico, these limes. And pop the lime in there, juice a whole half a lime into that glass. It's going to fizz up a little bit, but this is the real deal. Okay, now for the red sauce. Since last night, I have been soaking these red chilies. Now, half of these come from, we have 2 chili trees here, bushes, and these are the ones that are coming from that one bush, and these are the ones that are coming from the other bush. Now, I don't know what kinds of chilies these are, but they're red, they look cool, and then I substituted with a packet of dried red chilies that I got from the store. All of these have been sitting in this water in boiling water, actually, is what I put over there last night, and so it's been sitting there for 24 hours. Next, I have right over here a little bit of onion and a clove of garlic. I minced the garlic into there and put the onion in there with a bit of olive oil, not much at all, and it's just been sitting there at the lowest heat possible. I do not want to see any browning here. That's not the goal. Basically, I'm trying to caramelize this onion and this garlic, and it's getting there. It should just become a globulous mass of beauty and wonderfulness. It smells beautiful. As it's becoming more caramelized, it's becoming just more like a sauce and a paste. And indeed, this is what's going to hold, this is the basis of what my sauce is going to be. Instead of, like, if you look on the back of a Tabasco bottle, they're using thickeners. I don't want to use that. I want to just use a natural thickener. That's what that is. And very soon I'm going to put the chilies along with that, and we're going to boil that for a while, again on pretty low heat, but we're going to boil it for a good couple of hours. But before I do that, I just want to remove, the chilies have green parts. I'm just going to remove, some of them have green parts and stalks. I'm just going to remove those. Okay, now I think the onions and the garlic have caramelized. That is forming a beautiful sauce there, and I'm going to put that one side for now, and now it's time to add the chilies. And every time you add something cold, you can turn the heat up, and we're going to let that get to the boil, and we're going to let it simmer there. Okay, so these peppers have been sitting away here for about 2 hours, boiling away, simmering away. Beautiful red texture. There's still some water in there, not too much, but now is the moment of truth. Oh my God. Oh, that is hot. So, next order of business. We're going to add these guys into the blender. Now, what I'm actually going to do just to be safe, is hold back some of the water. And that is just because once you blended it, it sure is hard to remove the liquid content if you find that it's too runny. So what we're going to do is hold back the water and add back as needed. And now we're going to add the caramelized garlic and onions that I cooked earlier. I'm going to add some other things, but first I'm going to blend it and just start to see what that flavor starts looking like. Now I will blend that on a higher speed at some point, but right now I want to check for texture. The texture is quite saucy, but it needs to be a little more liquid than that. However, before I add back that liquid, I am going to add the limes. So, time for limes. I'm going to start out with 1 lime in the lime squeezer. That's half, and this is 1. Alright, so let's give that a whirl. This time I'm going to blend it on high. We really want to get this as blended and saucy as possible. Alright, let's check it out. This is exciting. I can still see it needs a little more liquid, but let's see the taste. Oh, the lime is good, but we need more. So let's add the other lime in. Now we've got that other lime in there, I'm going to add some salt. Now it's really spicy and it's really flavorful. The salt is just to kind of fill in the gaps. A little bit like in music when you've got an EQ curve and you see too much EQ in certain places and not enough in other places. You want to equalize everything. This is kind of what I'm doing here. And part of that is also sugar. My sugar of preference is what they call turbinado. It's a brown sugar, but not the sticky one. I'm just going to add 2 little handfuls of that, and let's give it a whirl. All right, let's see where we're at. Right now, the liquid content is beginning to look quite good. You don't want it too much more liquid than that. That's really beginning to taste good. It's spicy. It's really spicy, but not too spicy. It's going to turn out really nice, but it's time for another lime. Now the reason I use limes is, well, limes are to Mexican food what curry powder is to Indian food. It's the soul of Mexican food. Lemons? No. People think lemons are part of the Mexican cuisine. No, they're not. It's all about limes. And so, here it goes. Alright, so I've just added a nice sized lime in there. I'm going to do a little more on the sugar and a tiny bit more on the salt. Look at the consistency. Looking quite good. Oh, that's beginning to be really good. Another dab of sugar. You know, when it comes to Mexican food, you just cannot have too much lime. Well, actually you can. But in this case, I'm adding now the 4th lime into this. And lime is a brilliant preserver. You don't need to add any of the artificial preservatives. Lime is going to do it for you. This sauce will last months, if not half a year, if not a year in your fridge. Okay. Oh, it still could be a little waterier. Oh, that is good. So I'm going to try and get it a tiny bit waterier. If I add back this water, let's taste it. I'm just going to make it really spicy, and right now it's as spicy as I want it. Now I'm going to add a little water. You add a bit of filtered water, and let's blend that together. Alright, I think we have a winner. Let's check it out. Look at this. That's kind of what you want. That's going to be in a bottle that has a little pourer on it, and it'll pour just easily enough, but it's not too watery. Tabasco for me is a little bit on the watery side. Sublime. It's really good. So, time to bottle. Now I have a bottle here. This is just a soy sauce bottle that I repurposed, and it's perfect with a funnel. And that is a bottle of Sparky sauce. It's a beautiful red sauce that you can use on anything and everything. And I'll pop the rest in just a regular jar. And now we have enough red sauce to last months and months. So thanks for watching. I know this has been hours and hours, but it really is quite a simple sauce to make. And you can do your own thing with it, you know, add your own ingredients, whatever. You know, when you're sitting down to have dinner and pouring this all over a steak or a sausage or whatever, that you made it, it comes from your garden, or half of it does, and you know every ingredient that went in there. It's a really good feeling. So I'll catch you on the next episode. Don't ever do this to your finger, especially if you're a pianist.